I can share it with them just as easily as I search, right? Swipe in from the right-hand side and I tap on share. And now, I could share it in a bunch of ways. I could post it on Facebook, or I could, tweet it, but I also can just email them. Tap on email Todd, and right in line, right in that Cocktail Flow app, I can email them the recipe instantly. Okay, so I've done I know where I'm going to go, and I've done my sort of homework, which is to pick the drink for the night. The last thing I want to do before I head home is I want to send my friends what I'm doing here at Computex. They're always really curious what's Computex and what's going on. And there's some really cool apps that kind of help me complete that. So Wikipedia has built a really fun and interesting metro-style app. It's got everything you'd expect, all the content and pictures and what happened this day in history. When I go to search, though, I can go here. Okay, I actually already searched for Computex. And one of the things that's great, and this is where these metro-style apps really come to life. Watch, when I pinch to zoom out, I get the table of contents. Like, that's not what the website does. The website, you actually have to kind of scroll up and scroll down. This is where these metro-style apps really come to life. They really make the content on the web really feel richer and easier to navigate. So I could send this to a friend, but there's one more thing I want to show you. There's this news app. Kind of like the travel app, it brings in news from all sorts of sources. So in this case, I can scroll around, and again, I get the really fast and fluid scrolling. So I'm going to search for Computex again. I'll find a good news article about Computex. Okay, that's one I like. That's a pretty good news article. Tablets and Windows 8 look to dominate Computex. And so I want to share with my friends and family what I'm doing here and send this article. I just use share again. Totally different app, but just as easy to do. In this case, I'm actually going to post it on Facebook. Right? Right in line, I get a nice preview, and I can post without leaving the app I'm in. So this gives you a little bit of a sample of what some of these new apps are like. But I've shown you a lot of work and business stuff. I'm about to head home. And one of the things I find these days is that my son is often more excited to get his hands on the tablet than he is to see me when I come back from the trip. And that's partially because there's just so much great stuff on it for him. One of the really compelling things about Windows 8 is I can log in as him. Right? He can have his own account where all of his stuff is totally separate. So that when I hand it to him, his apps, he has his own apps and his own content. My stuff, my email, my work contents are all safe and secure. So I'm going to set it up for him. He's a Bert and Ernie fan, so his picture password is a left eye, a right eye, and a middle nose, and there we go. Right? We're in. Bert and Ernie always hold the key. So there's a bunch of fun game apps. But there's also just some really compelling sort of educational apps that start to show you the power of a Windows device. So I want to jump into this really cool star chart app. This lets you navigate around the solar system and see the constellations that you can see. Today, I'm not sure if everyone's kept track of this, but Venus has transited the sun. That won't happen for another 115 years. So let me see where Venus is right now. I'm just going to search. Exact same search I showed you a second ago. Different app, totally different context. Okay, so Venus's transit of the sun is now complete. You can see it's actually crossed. And it really starts to show you how these metaphors work across a broad range of applications. Now, that's educational. Fun does have to be had, so let's find some fun games to play. A lot of kids love Flash games on the web, and you can't play them on a lot of devices. One of the things we announced in the release preview is that we support Flash for very popular content sites in Internet Explorer. So PBS Kids is a very popular website for games for kids in the US. And it runs in full fidelity with Flash, a really touch-optimized experience. And so my son can get access to all the games he wants. The rich games on the device and the Flash games online. All right, let me show you one or two more. So let's talk a little bit about Fitball. This one's just totally unexpected. And this is where I hope some of you will laugh at me. Fitball is a way to burn calories for those of us who spend a lot of time on the road. All right. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to get some red balls I've got to hit and get the music up. Let's see. Oh. I've got just 1 calorie down. Just one. Yeah, okay. That's probably enough embarrassment with enough pictures taken for the time. And for posterity, I have these very embarrassing pictures stored on the machine that I will not be sending around. But look, it's just a totally different app, but brings a really immersive experience. All right, the last one I want to show you is Fresh Paint. Fresh Paint is a deceptively simple painting app, right? We've all seen a lot of touch-first painting apps. I'm not a very good painter, but let me actually, I'm going to pull up a picture I'm going to trace for a second. Just pull up a picture from my picture folder. There we go. And I got a picture on this canvas. And I can do everything you'd expect. Let me take some yellow paint here. All right, I can paint. Just what you'd expect on a device like this. I'm going to do that stem in green, pick up the green. Let me start to show you, though, where this really comes to life. I've got to undo that green. Look at what you're seeing. You're actually seeing the texture of the underlying paper. As the paint blends down, it's actually laying down, and it's doing a bunch of really interesting sort of texturing on that device, on that paper canvas. Let me zoom back out. I've got to do a kind of combination red-yellow. I'm going to take the palette that I have up here. You see, look how just really rich this thing gets. So I can do some yellow, a little bit of red, start to mix it in here, so I got a nice sort of combination color to do that spot. Take this paintbrush. And watch as I zoom in. Really high fidelity. Look at that. It's just really compelling. It's a lot less messy than painting here on the house. But it gives a really cool sort of full experience. So this is what it means to have the power of a full PC in a lot of ways. Right? In one single machine, I've gone from checking my mail, opening my Word document, getting my files stored on my home PC, looking at a PowerPoint, looking at full-screen immersive apps, having fun, playing with the webcam. That's one device. And that really does bring to life this Windows 8 no-compromise experience. And what I really want to spend a second on now is just talking about how we're ready for us to build all of these things together. All right. So, I've really shown you three things. A system, peripherals, mice and keyboards. You didn't even probably notice when I switched from touch to a mouse and keyboard. And apps. And with the release preview, the toolkits that the ecosystem needs to build great pieces of hardware, great peripherals, and great apps are all ready for you to use. It really takes this combined partnership. All of the things we see on stage come from that joint work we have together. On the system side, we've been working really hard to make sure that we support all of the new hardware out there in the ecosystem. We support system-on-a-chip architectures and new ARM architectures from NVIDIA, TI, and Qualcomm. We support UEFI, and multi-touch, and USB 3, and a whole array of sensors. All let us build these types of devices with that full power of the PC. We've done a lot of work to help the tools that you use to build great PC experiences really help you understand how to deliver that delight to a customer. The assessment and deployment toolkit runs real-life workloads. So you can see what's web browsing like on my machine, and actually debug down to the driver level what's happening. Why is web browser being slow? Or what do I need to do to make that experience just a little bit smoother for the end user? We have also worked hard to make the Windows Hardware Certification Kit, or as we lovingly name the WHCK, much simpler for you to use. It automatically figures out now what hardware a device supports. It can run the tests for certification distributed across a broad array of machines, so your testing time can be cut down and made easier. We've already, with your help, run these toolkits on over 800 shipping Windows 7 machines. This helps us know how to make sure that Windows 8 machines will be great. Let's talk about peripherals for a second. Peripherals bring the Windows ecosystem to life. And we've done a lot of work to make peripherals a strong part of the Windows 8 story. From adding new class drivers for printers, mobile broadband adapters, and webcams, just to name a few, so that when you plug a device into a Windows 8 device or a Windows RT device, the user gets a zero install experience instantly, and that it just works. We've added the ability to write Metro-style device apps. These Metro-style device apps let you actually bring up a rich, full-screen experience, just like those apps, so that a printer manufacturer can show the ink levels. Or a webcam manufacturer can let you actually, as soon as you plug in the device, automatically get an app that completes the scenario. That same certification toolkit that we use for PCs, we also use for peripherals. And it's been streamlined to be easier to automatically figure out what a device supports and run just the tests that are important. Today on Windows 7, we have over 50,000 unique peripherals that are certified and logoed for Windows 7. With Windows 8, we want to make sure all of those run great and add a whole new host of devices. And then the certification program is the evolution of our logo program. That's how you get a device to get the Windows 8 or Windows RT logo, so that a customer can have the confidence that that device is ready to go when they buy it. And the last piece is apps. You know, it is really astonishing to think about how much work the ecosystem has done in the last 18 months. We had Build in September of last year, and we had about 4,000 developers. With the release of the consumer preview in March, we kicked off a series of worldwide events. We've had over 500 events and 194,000 developers sitting in chairs, much like yours today, learning how to build great Metro-style apps. The Windows Store, with the release preview, expanded to take applications from over 38 markets. There are hundreds available in the store today. As I said, everything you saw, you can go get, I hope you do. And we're getting more every day. And then the Windows App Certification Kit is how you test both Metro-style apps, so that you can know whether or not an app will pass all of the technical checks before you submit it to our Windows Store. You can know it all before you submit it. And you can know whether or not the desktop software that you've written is compatible with Windows 8. We've already tested over 13,000 desktop applications to make sure we've got great desktop compatibility with Windows 8. So what's the call to action? That's what I really want to leave you with here. All of the kits I talked about are done. You can start building devices, printers, and apps today. They're all available up on the Windows Dev Center, dev.windows.com. So the number one thing to do is to get up to speed. On the PC side, using the ADK to test the machines you're building to make sure customers have great end-user experiences is a priority. And then you can test with the WHDK and submit your PCs for logo today on the Windows Dev Center. For peripherals, number one thing, test all of your Windows 7 peripherals. If you've got a logo for Windows 7, test it on Windows 8. Go to the Dev Center to learn more. If you're building a new device, go to a certification workshop. We're running them around the world. You can find out more in the Dev Center. Think about how a Metro-style app can bring your device to life. Putting it up in the store means a customer gets it automatically when they plug your device in to a Windows 8 device. And then test and submit your devices for logo with the WHDK. On apps, test all your desktop apps. It's the number one thing to do. Make sure that you get everything you got running on Windows 7 today, Windows 8 certified and logo. Next thing, learn about building Metro-style apps. As I said, we have a lot of tools online. We also have dev camps running all over the world. We see a lot of engagement when folks sit down with our tool chain. The release preview includes a fresh build of Visual Studio, a world-class development platform, and has all the tools you need to build the types of experiences I showed you today. And then get ready to submit your Metro-style app. Get ready to put it in the store. We have programs in place so that we can start getting the store filled with great applications as we head into the RTM and general availability milestones. So hopefully I've given you a little bit of tour of the release preview. I've shown you how it's both great for work and great for play, and how it's evolving with great applications in the Windows Store. I think a great way to kind of bring it all together is to invite Googs back out to show us the types of systems that you guys are working on to build for customers.
Thanks, you. Great job, man. That was just a really, really good overview of release preview. I think you can see how the apps are starting to come along. Aiden did a really nice job of weaving it together and talking about how Windows 8 provides a no compromise. What I thought I'd do now is spend a little bit of time then taking all of the things we've sort of seen and talked about today in terms of the components, the software, the services, the release preview, and look at some of the innovative work the ecosystem has done to bring all that together on some early machines.